Imagine like opening your banking app and feeling this massive wave of physical, heart-racing panic.
Oh, absolutely. It's a horrible feeling.
Right. And for so many young professionals, I mean, that isn't hyperbole. It's just a daily reality. So welcome to today's deep dive where we are looking at the actual media kit and content strategy for a personal finance creator named Tanvi.
Yes, and bringing my perspective as a financial advisor, her approach to this is, frankly, really fascinating.
It totally is. And coming at this through the lens of a young adult, navigating those, early financial hurdles, it's such a breath of fresh air. She is fundamentally flipping the script-turning personal finance from a terrifying test into, well, an approachable life skill. So what stands out to you in her brand's foundation?
Well, the most striking element is how she addresses the root problem before ever touching a spreadsheet. Traditional financial education usually fails because it treats humans like calculators.
Yeah, it assumes the core obstacle is just like a lack of math skills.
Exactly. But Tanvi's audience data shows the real obstacle is profound anxiety. When dealing with her target demographic students, interns, early professionals managing their first real income, the confusion is huge. The fear of making a mistake is literally paralyzing.
I mean, I do struggle with this strategy a little bit, though. If our core brand revolves around making people feel better, aren't we ignoring the reality of money?
How so?
Well, finance is cold, hard math.
Yeah.
If you prioritize emotional safety, which, by the way, her media kit explicitly lists as her competitive mode over strict budgeting, aren't you risking massive blind spots? Traditional finance gurus act like strict teachers handing back a failing math test for a reason. The numbers have to add up.
Sure, but that assumption is exactly why most traditional advisors fail to retain the specific demographic.
Right.
By weaponizing the math, they just create shame.
And shame leads to avoidance, right?
Precisely. Tenvi's strategy recognizes that removing the guilt around buying a cup of coffee actually paves the way for long-term financial control. She shifts the paradigm from judgment to skill building.
Oh, wow. So instead of freaking out over every penny, they just focus on getting better.
Yes. When her audience stops worrying, am I handling my money correctly, and starts asking, what small money skill can I practice this week? They experience what her strategy defines as a confidence shift.
So the anxiety drops and the feeling of control rises.
Exactly. Audience engagement goes way up because of it.
Okay, but identifying the emotional block is like only half the battle. If her mode is emotional safety, how does her content actually translate that into daily advice? Because she has to keep viewers coming back.
Well, looking at her content examples, she tackles specific, hyper-relatable triggers.
Like the bank balance anxiety one. For a lot of people in their demographic, that I'll just pretend my bank account doesn't exist
Yeah.
phase is very real.
Oh, we see it all the time. And her solution avoids those hyper-detailed spreadsheets that people abandon in 2 days. Instead, it's radically simple. She says to check your balance just once a week and track only 3 categories.
Food, transport, and fun, right?
You got it. By reducing the cognitive load to just 3 tracking categories, her strategy achieves incredibly high retention rates. She isn't just giving advice, she's engineering quick dopamine hits.
Like, hey, I can actually do this.
Exactly. That mechanic turns casual viewers into a loyal community. You don't need to track every penny to feel in control. You just need to know where the big chunks are going.
The simplicity matches the emotional reality of her audience.
It really does.
And she applies that same logic to her 3-bucket rule for managing a first salary. Bucket 1 is for essentials, bucket 2 is for future you, which is savings, and bucket 3 is enjoyment.
It's a very solid framework.
It completely reminds me of putting the bumpers up in a bowling alley. It gives your money structure, it keeps you out of the gutter, but it doesn't make the game feel horribly restrictive. You can still just roll the ball.
That is a great analogy. And what that bumper system does from a branding perspective is build immediate sticky trust. It proves to the viewer that they aren't inherently bad with money.
They just haven't been taught it in a safe environment.
Right. Her content doesn't rely on perfection or aggressive saving goals, which usually just lead to audience burnout and churn. Instead, it focuses on building repeatable habits.
So what does this mean for you listening? I mean, it's really a masterclass in audience alignment. If you want to build a loyal following, you don't necessarily need to be the most technical expert in the room.
No, you need to identify the exact emotional friction your audience is facing and build systems that make them feel safe enough to take the first step.
Because knowledge is most valuable when your audience can actually apply it without fear. Tandy's entire content engine is built on that exact premise,
It's a brilliant way to operate.
which leaves us with a really fascinating thought to end on. If money is simply a skill to be practiced, rather than some inherent talent you're either born with or not, what happens to the broader economy when an entire generation stops comparing their bank accounts to others?
And starts making financial decisions rooted entirely in emotional safety.
Exactly. Something to think about next time you check your balance.